kasulatan ay magkakaroon tayo ng pag-asa. Ito ang Far East Broadcasting Company Philippines. Patuloy na naghahati ng pag-asa mula sa hindi nagbabagong salita ng Diyos sa gitna ng pabago-bagong panahon.
Aray! Aling Nena! Ang hirap maging matanda! Tungtuhod at daliri ko, parang kinakalawang na simula na ng bagong taon.
Nako, Berto, huwag kang sumuko. Hindi kailangan ng mamahaling gamot para sa kinakalawang na joints. Silip ka lang sa bakod at sa kusina.
Sa kusina? Ano namang gagawin ko dun?
Magsalabat ka. Ang luya, natural na pang-alis ng pamamaga yan. At huwag mong kalimutan ang malunggay sa tinola. Alam mo bang puno yan ng vitamin C at calcium para protektado ang iyong mga kaso-kasuan?
Totoo yan, mga ka-healthy. Ayon sa pag-aaral, ang gingerol sa luya at ang antioxidant sa malunggay ay mabisang panlaban sa arthritis flare-ups. Mura na, natural pa.
Ang sarap ng salabat. Salamat, Aling Nena. Kilos-kilos na uli.
Tama yan. Basta natural, arthritis ay malalabanan.
Isang pangkalusugang paalala mula sa FEBC Bicol, Care 104.3 The Way-FM.
Simula pa noong 1948, lubos na naibabahagi ang mabuting balita ni Hesukristo sa mga Pilipino sa ating bayan at maging sa mga nasa ibang bansa tungo sa Far East Broadcasting Company Philippines.
Sa Mega Manila, makakapakinig sa 702 DZAS-AM, Agapay ng Sambayanan, at 98.7 DZFE-FM, The Master's Touch. Sa Santiago City, Isabela, sa 1143 DZMR-AM, Missions Radio. Legazpi City, Albay, Care 104.3 DWAY-FM. Sa Quezon, Palawan, 106.3 DZRK-FM, Radio Kapitbisay.
Sa Tacloban City, 97.5 DYFE-FM, unang tugon ng pamayanan. Bacolod City, 1233 DYVS-AM, the sweet voice of salvation. Up 987 DYFR-FM, life-changing. Sa Cagayan de Oro City, 103.3 the new J DXJL-FM, your positive choice.
Zamboanga City, 1116 DXAS-AM, your community radio. Cotabato City, 106.9 DXGR-FM, Radio Gandingan. Sa Coronadal City, 1062 DXKI-AM, your friendly voice. Davao City, 1197 DXFE-AM, the Good News Radio. Makakapakinig din sa mga online streams at sa mga mobile apps.
Ito ang mga himpilan ng Far East Broadcasting Company Philippines sa ika-78 taong pagsasahing papawid. Naghahatid ng mensahe ng kapayapaan ni Kristo hanggang marinig ng lahat. Negosyo Asin Trabaho, programang tulay sa paghahanap ng trabaho at mga paraan kung paanong aasenso sa pagnenegosyo. Hatid sa inyo ng Far East Broadcasting Company.
Isang mapagpalang umaga sa bawat isa na nakikinig at umaantabay sa ating programa sa Far East Broadcasting Company Philippines. Ito po ang FEBC Bicol, ang Care 104.3 DWAY-FM. At ito po ang inyong programa, Negosyo Asin Trabaho, at ako si Yvette Pao ang inyong kasama hanggang mamaya. At tayo pong lahat ay magsasama-sama at I'm very excited na makasama kayo sa ating programa ngayong araw na ito. It's a beautiful Friday morning at talaga naman pong every Friday ay tayo ay nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon na makapakinig ng mga entrepreneurs na nanggagaling sa mga miyembro, iba't ibang entrepreneurs o mga negosyante na miyembro ng Business as Mission. Mas nalalaman at nauunawaan natin kung ano nga ba itong Business as Mission, kaya maya-maya lamang po itong hayan natin ang isa na namang kwento ng isang miyembro ng Business as Missions. Pero bago po ang lahat, tayo muna ay mangumusta sa ating mga kasama na lalong-lalo na po kanina pang alas 5 ng umaga na umaantabay at sumusubaybay sa ating mga programa dito sa Care 104.3 DWAY-FM. Kumusta po kayo mula sa atin dito sa himpilan sa Maharlika Highway, Arimbay, Legazpi City? Kumusta po kayong lahat sa 1st, 2nd, and 3rd District of Albay? At syempre kinukumusta din natin ang ating mga kapatid, kaibigan at ang ating mga kapamilya, mga ka-Caryans at ang ating mga taga-subaybay dyan sa may Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte. At syempre, hindi natin kakalimutan ang ating mga nasa isla. Ang isla ng Happy Island of Catanduanes. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. At ganoon din ang ating mga kaibigan sa Masbate, Burias, Ticao, and Lapu-Lapu Island. At ganoon din, kumustahin din natin ang ating mga kaibigan at mga ka-Caryans, mga tagapakinig sa may Sorsogon. Naku, marami tayo dyan na mga nakikinig sa atin na mga tahimik lamang dahil sila ay nasa radyo. Pero alam natin na tuwing nakikita-kita tayo sa ating mga paglabas, talagang nangangamusta sila at alam nila mga pangyayari dito sa ating himpilan at sila ay natutuwa na sila ay patuloy na nakakapakinig ng ating signal o ng ating pag-broadcast at sila ay abot na abot ng ating signal dyan sa may Sorsogon. At kung saan ka man naroroon ngayon, ikaw man ay nakikinig ng ating live broadcast today o ikaw man ay nanonood sa mga social media platforms na available, ay kami ay masaya na ikaw ay kasama namin at patuloy na sumusubaybay sa ating mga programa. Kaya naman, kung ikaw ay nais mo na magpa-mention, magpa-shoutout, or meron kang gustong batiin, lalong-lalo na yung mga birthday celebrants at yung mga merong mga importanteng mga selebrasyon o anumang tagumpay na inyong nararanasan ngayon. Kami po dito sa ating himpilan sa FEBC Bicol ay talaga namang masaya at natutuwa at nakikisaya sa anumang tagumpay na inyong isineselebrate ngayon. Kaya naman, kung nais mo na ikaw ay makipag-ugnayan, pwedeng-pwede kang pumunta dito sa ating himpilan sa Maharlika Highway, Arimbay, Legazpi City. At pwede ka ding mag-text o tumawag sa ating telepono numero 0998-843-0573. At syempre pa, kung ikaw naman ay nais mo na nakikita kami at napapanood, ito man ay live o ito man ay replay, maaari ka na pumunta sa mga social media platforms na kung saan matatagpuan mo ang FEBC Bicol. Sa ating Facebook page, ang FEBC Bicol-Care 104.3 DWAY-FM at sa ating YouTube at Instagram, FEBC Bicol-Care 104.3 DWAY-FM. At kung ikaw naman ay nais mo na habang ikaw ay may ginagawa, nakakapakinig at nakakasubaybay sa atin, basta ikaw ay merong internet connection o may data, pwedeng-pwede kang mag-type sa iyong telepono, sa iyong laptop or sa anumang gadget na iyong gamit at i-type mo lamang ang bit.ly/DWAY-FM. Again, that's bit.ly/DWAY-FM. www.DWAY-FM. At kung nais mo na ikaw ay mapabilang sa ating lumalaking pamilya ng Carians Official GC, pwedeng-pwede kang magmensahe sa amin at upang i-add ka namin dito at ikaw ay mas magiging updated sa ating mga live programs, ganun din sa mga pangyayari dito sa ating mga happenings dito sa ating himpilan. At syempre, lahat po kayo ay welcome na pumunta at bumisita sa ating himpilan. Dito lamang po kami located sa Arimbay, Legazpi City. Ayan po, along the highway lang po kami. At makikita nyo po kami kagad dahil po tayo ay merong malaking signage ng Care 104.3 DWAY-FM. Kumusta po ang lahat? At syempre, kamustahin din natin yung mga nasa labas ng ating bansa at yung mga hindi naaabot ng ating signals saan ka mang sulok ng bansa o sa labas ng ating bansa. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat at salamat sa pagsubaybay. Sa inyo pong pakikinig, amin pong request na i-share nyo po ang ating mga program links para naman po may iba pa na tayong mga makasama at meron pa pong iba pa na mabless sa mga talakayan, usapin at sila din ay ma-encourage at ma-inspire sa ating mga napag-uusapan. At syempre, yung mga information na kailangan nila ay maaari nilang makuha dito sa ating himpilan sa pamagitan ng pakikinig sa atin sa radyo or kung hindi man sila na aabot ng ating signal sa radyo, maaari sila na makapanood sa ating live or replays ng ating mga programa sa social media platforms. Kaya naman lahat po kayo ay inaanyayahan ko na samahan ako hanggang mamaya para po sa ating Business as Mission segment. At syempre pa, bago po tayo magpatuloy, kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat at tabay lamang po kayo. At bago tayo pumunta sa Business as Mission segment natin, tayo muna po ay makikinig ng ilang paalala mula sa ating himpilan at ganun din ang pro tips ni Maloy Malibiran sa Lumbides.
Teka muna. Bago pumasok sa opisina, pakinggan muna ang Pro Tips.
Hindi mawawala ang pressure at stress sa ating trabaho. Times of intense pressure and stress can also be times when we mine great treasures in our lives. Magandang araw. Ako si Maloy Malibiran sa Lumbides para sa Pro Tips, partner mo sa inspiradong trabaho at negosyong umaasenso. Ano nga ba ang treasures na pwede nating mahanap sa panahong nagdaraan tayo sa matinding pressure? Una, the treasure of true friendship. Higit mong nakikilala kung sino ang tunay mong kaibigan at ang mga taong may malasakit sa iyo kapag ikaw ay dumaraan sa problema. Kadalasan, mahirap pakisamahan ang taong may pinagdaraanan. Kaya nga minsan ay pabiro nating nasasabi kapag may taong masungit, siguro matindi ang pinagdaraanan niya. Pero ang totoong kaibigan, good mood ka man o hindi, nariyan siya para damayan ka. Friendships and your ties with the people you love when you go through stressful times ay kayamanang maituturing kapag ito'y nakasurvive sa matinding pressure. Pangalawa, the treasure of pushing your limits. Isa sa mahahalagang bunga ng pressure ay nahihigitan mo ang akala mo'y iyong mga limitasyon noong una. Hindi ba sa panahong may sakuna, gaya halimbawa ng sunog, yung akala mong hindi mo mabubuhat, agad-agad mong nadadala dahil pinataas ng isang stressful situation ang iyong adrenaline. Minsan ay naanyayahan akong magsalita sa isang seminar pero ilang araw bago ang event, nagkasakit ako, napaos at nawala ng boses. Dahil matagal nang naplano ang event, itinuloy pa rin ito. At sa tulong ng Diyos, nakapagsalita pa rin ako. Ang akala kong hindi ko kaya, magagawa naman pala. If you don't cave in to pressure, you will be able to push past your limits and accomplish your goals. At pangatlo, the treasure of strengthened faith. Ang sabi sa James chapter 1 verses 2 to 4, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Ang mga nag-workout ay dumaraan sa matinding training para higit na ma-develop ang kanilang muscles at lumakas ang kanilang stamina. Masakit sa katawan. Kung baguhan ka nga ay tiyak na mahihirapan kang kumilos pagkatapos ng una mong workout. Pero sa ganyang paraan ay lumalakas at tumitibay ang iyong katawan. Ganoon din ang ating pananampalataya. Ang mga pagsubok na palagi namang stressful ay pagkakataong mapatatag ang ating kalooban at ugnayan sa Diyos. Maraming treasures sa pressures na iyong nararanasan. The treasure of true friendship, the treasure of pushing your limits, and the treasure of strengthened faith. Problems and pressures can purify you as fire purifies gold. Ang sabi sa 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 7, "In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer various trials, so that the authenticity of your faith, more precious than gold, which perishes, even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ." Ipagpasalamat mo ang pressure dahil mayroon niyang kaakibat na treasure. Para sa Pro Tips, ako si Maloy Malibiran sa Lumbides. Be a blessing in the workplace today.
Capability. The three pillars of the path we choose. Through the storm and the clear blue day. We pave the way. We lead the way. Yeah. 7-9 years strong. We write in history above the clouds. We fly protecting every family. Forging up a future that the nation's gonna see. Yeah, we the guardians of the precious skies. We build a hope that you can see in every eye. Mission oriented, the core of our flight. Capability driven, reaching new heights. Value, space, service, our guiding line. 7-9 years of soaring high. Guardians of the sky. Bearers of hope. Mission. Capability. Values. Always ready to fly.
Lolo, Lola, alam niyo na po ba ang latest sa Care 104.3 DWAY-FM?
Oo, Apo. Ito ba yung paborito naming istasyon?
Bakit? Apo, anong meron?
Opo, Lolo at Lola. Simula sa buwan ng Hulyo, may 2 pagbabago sa DWAY-FM. Once na lang po mapapakinggan ang The Young Ones sa Family Matters. Tuwing last Thursday of the month. Kasama sila Pastora Nelly Fulgencio at Mamita Dulce Bajado.
Ah, ganun ba?
Pero wag po kayo mag-alala dahil mapapakinggan nyo pa din ang Family Matters mula sa 702 DCAS na para pa din sa inyo.
At ano pa yung isa-is ko, Apo?
May bagong host naman po ang Music and Memories tuwing Sunday na si Mel Manzanilla. Pero wag po kayo mag-alala dahil maririnig nyo pa din ang inyong mga paboritong awitin from 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Ah, walang problema, Apo. Basta huwag kang makakalimot sa paborito naming panghilot, ha? Para mas relaxing ang pakinig namin sa Care 104.3 DWAY-FM.
Oo naman po, kayo pa. Ang lakas niyo po sa akin eh. Gusto niyo may freebies pa ng hilot-hilot?
Aba gustong-gusto namin yan, Apo. Sige, simulan mo na ngayon.
Po, as in ngayon na? Sige po.
Usapang trabaho, usapang kabuhayan, usapang negosyo, usapang asenso, entre Pinoy. Espesyal, patok na negosyo.
Business as Mission sa Entre Pinoy Espesyal. Nagpapatuloy po ang Entrepinoy Espesyal dito po sa programang o sa feature po natin na Patok na Negosyo. Ang ating partner po ay ang Business as Mission Philippines. At sa oras po na ito, medyo maiiba ang ating bisita, not from the Philippines, pero bahagi pa rin ng Business as Mission, global naman. And one of the representatives of members of BAM Global, we have here Joseph Kolapudi. Hi, Joseph.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing well, yeah. It's good to be here in the Philippines.
Was it your first time?
This is my first time, yes.
How's your experience?
It's been great, yeah. Everyone's been very friendly. I love the food, so enjoying my time.
So far, what food has you've been impressed?
I've actually been surprised that you have rice, even for breakfast. Usually in Australia, we don't have rice for breakfast, so that's...
But you have rice in Australia?
We have rice, yes, yeah, but usually for dinner or lunch, but first time having it for breakfast. Yeah.
Oh, but you have also served potatoes, right?
Yes, so usually we have like a typical breakfast would be like potatoes, we call it baked beans, and toast.
Bread.
Yeah,
Toast.
on bread. Yeah.
Okay. What particular dish so far you liked in
So
Philippines?
I've had adobo.
Adobo.
Yeah, the chicken adobo.
Here or in Australia?
Before, one of my friends who's a Filipino, he made some chicken adobo. It's very nice. Yes, I like the pepper, the spices in that. Yeah.
Okay, adobo pala. The famous adobo. And Joseph, we also would want to get to know more about you, your faith journey, how you came to know the Lord, and would you like to share it to
Absolutely.
our listeners?
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in a Christian family. So both my parents are born overseas in India. But my
In where?
In South India.
South India. Okay.
Yes, that's right. So typically South India is has a big Christian population. But my great-grandparents were actually not Christians. So they were from a Hindu background.
Okay.
So they became Christians after the missionaries came from England. And they visited my parents' village. And then my parents and my great-grandparents became Christians. So almost every generation became Christian after that. And then on my father's side, my grandfather planted the first church in the village. So even though I was born and raised in Australia, I had the opportunity to visit India often, and I was actually baptized in my grandfather's church. Yeah, so there's a connection back to India there. So
That's nice.
So I've been part of a Christian family. I'm now married and have 2 kids. So
Have they been to India also?
yes, yeah. So the first time we took the family back to India was 2024.
How young were your kids?
So the youngest is 2.5. Yeah, and then we're actually expecting our second. So our second will be born this July.
So the 2.5-year-old has been to India.
Yes, yeah. So we took her when she was 6 months.
Okay. And how did the Lord lead you to doing business?
Yeah, so in my undergraduate university studies, I was actually studying business. So my father is a businessman. He ran a business consulting firm in the marketing industry for several years. So I was always inspired to pursue business. But in university, I had a calling actually to go into ministry because we always used to have in our church visiting missionaries come and share their testimonies. So I was very inspired to go into ministry. But I still wanted to connect business and ministry together, but I didn't know how. So one of my friends actually told me about Business as Mission.
What year was that?
This was... This was a very long time ago.
Early 2000, I would say?
Yeah, probably early 2000s. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, around that time. And Business as Mission was still a fairly new concept, especially in Australia. So Australians actually don't call it Business as Mission. We used to call it missional business. So the same concept,
but
different
it's the same perspective.
Yeah, same perspective, yeah. So one of my friends shared with me about Business as Mission, but he encouraged me to go overseas to explore it a little bit more. So at the time I was looking at Bible college. after my undergraduate studies. So there was a Bible college in America that was
Okay.
actually teaching business as mission. Yeah.
So you went to America.
Yeah. So I went to America. This was 2013. So a long time after I had the first conversation. Yeah.
Mhm. And off the air, mga kaagapay, he's also mentioned that he became a part of FEBC Australia. Can you share a bit of that?
Yeah, so this was around 2018. I joined FEBC Australia. So we were expanding our team nationally to look at how do we focus on ministry updates overseas. So at the time, I was editing the Skywaves newsletter, which we were collecting stories from across different FEBC offices around the world. So I would contact, at that time, the Ukraine crisis was happening. So I was contacting the Ukraine office, getting some stories also from FEBC Russia and other places. Yeah.
And working in FEBC is really interesting and a good journey.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I learned a lot about the efforts of missions overseas, and obviously in radio and other media, I think FEBC is definitely leading the way in reaching the unreached. And it was wonderful to hear those stories firsthand.
And as you've mentioned, meron po kaming mga libro na tinatawag na Skywaves. It's a book na full of testimonies, stories of FEBC workers and how the Lord led them to the ministries and the miracle of God in this faith ministry. And going back to our discussion, and sabi mo nga earlier that the Lord has led you to business through your undergraduate course, and then you have furthered your study on that. What was your first business experience and the learnings that you got from there?
Yeah, so after I graduated from Bible College, I was working with a center called the U.S. Center for World Mission. So doing research of how do we do ministry and mission overseas. And then one of the mission agencies that was one of our partners is called Interserve. So they work especially in Asia and the Middle East region.
Interserve,
okay. Yes. So they actually have a base in Australia. And I was returning to Australia and they asked me, why don't you do business as mission in Asia? So I was considering that at the time. This was 2013. So I actually applied to join Interserve, the mission agency, and they sent me to India, so to the land of my parents, where I was working with a BAM business in India. Yeah.
So you went back to...
I went back, yeah, almost like to rediscover my cultural roots, but also to learn about how BAM is done overseas. Yeah.
Okay, and how is it so far?
Yeah, it was great. I think it was a very good experience because I was still quite young at the time, learning it like firsthand. And I learned a lot about, the nuances of business, how to do it using the local workforce. And also one of the benefits coming out of that experience is I got to meet my wife. She was actually one of my colleagues at the business. So
that's the best thing.
That's the best, yeah, that's the best part of the experience, definitely.
Can you also share a defining moment when you knew God was calling you to use business as a ministry?
Yeah, I think because I was able to see the practical impact of it. So when I was in India, we were working with a ministry that had a location in every state in India. So part of my job was to visit these different locations, meet with the business owners, hear their stories, their testimonies, and then give them some microfinance funding to expand. So a lot of the times we would hear these stories from the field about, women who had been oppressed, who are now business owners, people who are pastors who are now able to support their families, even young people who are getting into business and influencing the university and the education sector. So I think hearing a lot of their stories and testimonies and witnessing the impact, that really inspired me. Also to eventually start my own business once I returned to Australia.
You've mentioned about microfinance. Was it kind of a grant or a credit to...
So it was basically seed funding.
Seed funding.
So we would identify businesses that were just starting, almost in the startup phase.
So it's like a grant.
Yeah, it was almost like a grant. Yeah, so it was a limited funding for about 2 years, and then once they were able to show their proof of concept, we could reinvest a bigger amount into their business.
And then you follow through.
We followed through, yeah. So every business, they had to apply for the funding and show measurable objectives of this is what we're using the funding for, this is how it will impact the community for the next couple of years. And then we would visit every 6 months to see the progress and also see opportunities to improve.
But you also help them in documenting,
Yes.
because I believe some of the people that you're helping are not schooled. So it's
Yes.
difficult to document. I mean, to
Absolutely.
prove that they have this sort of a feasibility study of the business presentation.
Yeah, that's right. So a lot of them were working in village or regional areas. So my role was, to document a lot of this in the digital format. Also, we helped them to set up websites and an online presence as well. Some of them were working in the tech space. So even investing into apps and things that they could run offline, which was very helpful for them to kind of understand and learn that as well. Yeah.
Okay, so that inspired you. You went back to the country where your parents lived in India, your home country, and then that inspired you to put up your own business in Australia.
Yes, that's right.
And what was that?
Yeah, so we've been running the business for about 6 years. So we call it Solve Squad. So basically, the idea of the business or the concept is to focus on young people from migrant and refugee backgrounds in particular, those who have more obstacles to getting into the workforce, and give them more access and training for employment and job opportunities.
So what do you do in Solve Squad?
Yeah, so a lot of our focus is partnering with Christian businesses. So a lot of Christian businesses.
Creating opportunities for
Yes.
employment.
For the employment for the young people, yeah. So a lot of the Christian businesses, they're looking to hire, but sometimes they don't have skilled workers who can specifically focus in an area, whether it's finance, administration, IT. So a lot of the young people, they have the skills and the availability, but they don't know where to find the opportunities. So we basically
That's where you came in.
Connecting them to that opportunity. Yeah.
But what are the challenges of creating such business?
Yeah. I think some of the challenges is finding the right connections.
Okay.
So a lot of the Christian businesses, they don't say that they're operating as a BAM business. So they don't use that terminology. But we're able to create relationships with the founders, the CEOs, the business managers, and say, this will be a good opportunity for your business to invest into the younger generation. And they see that as an opportunity to give back to their community, not just for a business purpose, but for more sustainable impact as well.
But what were there dangers of helping the undocumented
Yeah, that's right.
people?
Yes, so some of them, they come on what we call humanitarian visas, so they're sponsored by the United Nations to come.
But under the humanitarian visa means they are still documented, right?
Yeah, they're still documented. So we only work with those who have the visas right now. Some of them are transferring onto work visas or skilled professional visas, and we help in that regard because we work with Christian law firms and others who can.
How about those who are really with no documents at all?
With those who don't have documentation, we try and make the process a bit simpler. So we will help with some of their visa questions and things like that. We don't help in terms of getting the visa per se, but we will connect them to the right organizations that can help. Yeah.
Okay. In business as mission, you believe that the Lord has given you the creativity and even the skill to do the business, and as a return, you will do it with integrity.
Yes, absolutely.
And what are the challenges of being a business that has faith in Christ in this type of endeavor?
Yeah, I think one of the other challenges we're facing at the moment is we work with both Christian businesses and also more secular businesses, businesses that are not run by Christians. So sometimes when they'll ask us, what's your motivation for doing the business, we have to be transparent in that. So we're very open, at least me as the owner of the business, I'm very open in sharing my story and showing the motivation behind that.
Could you share
Yeah, I
that
can
to
share
our
a little bit,
listeners?
yeah. So very early on, when we started in 2020, both of my co-founders were not Christians. So they knew I was a Christian, but they wanted me to be involved in the business. But I very openly shared with them in the early stages of the business that I want to move the business in a direction that's complementary to my faith. And thankfully, they were actually quite open to that. So eventually they said, we want to expand, but we want you to drive the expansion of the business. So they actually handed over the leadership to me. And they're still involved, but behind the scenes. So now I'm able to openly guide the focus of the business to more intentionally being Christian. So around 2023, we sat down with all of our core team members and we said, we want to make sure our mission and vision of the business reflects Christian principles. So all of our core team are Christians, even though we work with people who are not Christians and other volunteers and staff who aren't Christians, but they're aware that we're a Christian-led business. And whenever someone joins, we try and share that quite transparently as well.
So how about the business partners? Have they been...
Yeah, so they've still been involved, but less involved. So they're basically now silent partners. So they help make connections within the industry and at some points fund some of our objectives. But the day-to-day operations I usually handle at the moment.
In your mission in India, you've also witnessed how business have helped the people, the grassroots, the people, or the less fortunate people, change their lives through helping in the business,
Yes,
giving them microfinance, and you've witnessed how their lives were transformed. How about in your business in Solve Squad? Could you share?
Yeah, I can share some examples. So one of our earliest partners was a migrant from Africa, and he came to Australia on a working visa. So he was actually working for a government agency, but for some circumstances he lost his job. And he wasn't sure what to do. And then we met him early on when he was actually wanting to go into business. And we gave him some advice of, this is how you can navigate the sector. He ended up starting his own business as a Christian professional. And now the business is doing actually very well and has actually reinvested into our business. So they're one of our biggest financial partners now. So it's good to see it come full circle in a way that we're able to at least sow the seed and then see the benefits later on.
And in this area of business, how do you share the gospel? How do you inject sharing the word of God?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we're trying to do it now through media. So a lot of the emphasis now, because we work with young people, a lot of them are trained in like social media, the digital aspect. We have something on our website that we call our Spotlight series. So every Friday we try and focus on a different business that's doing something positive within the community, share their story, how they started the business, what's their motivation, and how people can get involved. So we do a lot of those Spotlight series every week through our networks. And then obviously conferences like this and events that we do where we try and go and share a little bit about the work that we're doing. Only since last year, we actually started investing more into Asia in terms of our partnerships. So we did a similar presentation in South Korea 2 years ago. And then we've done a little bit of partnerships within the Singapore and other areas in Asia as well.
And how do you encourage these group of young individuals, entrepreneurs, to live their lives, do their business in a righteous way?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we share with young people is that you don't have to give up your aspirations or your education or your skills in order to serve in God's kingdom. I think there's still this concept of like secular sacred divide where
again secular sacred divide.
Yeah, so a lot of people would say my ministry is within my church or outside of my day job. But we're trying to encourage young people that you can do both ministry and business simultaneously. So anything that you're doing, whether you're working as a professional, online to find that with
Experience, have you encountered, or of course, there were temptations to do the not so right things, such as how do you confront bribery, tax evasion, graft and corruption, such as?
Yeah, I think sometimes there's the temptation to use funds in a way that's not specifically focusing on business as mission. So a couple of years ago, we started getting some government grants to expand into certain areas. But the thing with government grants is they only want you to specifically focus on one area or one community. So they would say, oh, if there's a social impact or benefit, you can only use the funds for this area. So yeah, that was a challenge early on. But one of the ways that we were able to navigate it is...
Why was it a challenge to you?
I think because we wanted to say that we're doing a Christian service, but we could only limit it to a community aspect. So they wanted us to invest into the NGO space, like the non-profit space, but not specifically in the business arena. Yeah. So trying to navigate both was a challenge, but one of the ways we overcome it was we invested into doing a forum sort of like this, like a conference, but we invited specifically Christian business owners, Christian NGO workers that were able to share their perspectives, and we were still able to support them by using this platform or this space to do it. So we're able to do both. And the government, when we were reporting it, we were very transparent, like we were able to do this, and they didn't have any questions. In fact, they were actually more interested in the work that we're doing because of that. Yeah.
So you were given another renewal?
Yes, yeah. In fact, we're working on a project right now with the government where we're investing into digital skills in young people. So more upskilling training. And it's a grant for the next 2 years that we're working on. Yeah.
And younger generations are also part of the unreached people, right?
Yes, that's right.
And it's important that you inculcate the gospel to them. How do you present the gospel to these group of young individuals?
Yeah, so some of the workshops that we're doing now in the training, we're actually partnering with churches. So churches we're hosting the workshops in the church sanctuary or the location. And even though some young people who are coming who are not Christians, they said, oh, why are you hosting it in a church? Or what's the motivation between doing that? So we're able to explain this is part of our commitment to this church or this neighborhood, and people are able to see it firsthand because church workers are volunteering in the background, or the pastor, we invite him on stage and he's able to share some of the commitment that they have to supporting us in that business endeavor. So we're slowly trying to do that in different locations around Australia.
And how did the business as mission help you shape this kind of perspective in the business?
Yeah, so a lot of the principles that we're using are based on BAM principles. So going back to my my education in Bible college, one of my professors helped write the BAM textbook, which is now used a lot in these arenas. And he worked in India for some time. So he encouraged me actually to go back to India. That was one of the motivations to go back. But we've kept in contact often. And sometimes when I'm teaching BAM in the universities or Bible colleges, I'm still able to use the BAM principles, the textbooks in our curriculum. So I've done that in a few locations, not just Australia, but in South Asia and also in America. So yeah, those have been very helpful to use those resources and principles more practically. And people are still able to utilize that in the training.
Okay. And kausap natin mga kaagapay ay si Joseph Kolapudi. Siya po ang isa sa mga kabahagi ng Business as Mission Global, and he currently lives in Australia and have a ministry of mission there wherein he reaches out to the younger generation and collaborates with churches in terms of spreading the gospel, and networking is also important, right? when we work together for a common goal.
Yes, definitely.
And what is your message of encouragement to our Filipino entrepreneurs who are also doing business, focusing their energy and time for the younger generation?
Yeah, I would say definitely don't be afraid to collaborate with young people. I think young people have a lot of great ideas and potential, but trying to identify the best way to invest into the younger generation is important, and also being able to collaborate outside of a specific location. So now with the use of modern technology, you can work anywhere at any time. So trying to look for the right partnerships, the right collaborations, even outside of the Philippines, I would definitely encourage that as well. Yeah.
And Joseph, even if you are in Australia and we are in the Philippines, and we share a common thing that is a global crisis, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And in light of these global and economic crisis, how are faith-driven entrepreneurs are being stretched or tested?
Yeah, we were actually talking about that in our discussion earlier. I think some of the grounding principles in Scripture, it shows that people always invested into people who are on the margins, so people who are struggling or communities that didn't have the gospel yet, and even the early missionaries would always focus on trying to alleviate some of the poverty and some of the challenges the early church was facing. I think it's still the mandate now. I think BAM has always been committed to uplifting the communities and uplifting people on the margins. So I think that's still a big part of what we're trying to do. I think for our business, we're always trying to invest some of our profits back into communities that are investing into these areas on the margins. One example I can share is we did a workshop with a business, a Christian business that was hiring homeless people who were facing, homelessness, or they didn't have a job, and they were actually hiring them to work in social enterprise cafes, so working in like a Christian coffee shop and training them in that. So we were able to host a workshop in one of their cafes, and 50% of our profits went back to supporting that business. So.
Wow.
Everyone who was involved was probably a young professional from 18 to 35, and we were able to book out the entire cafe, and we had a lot of the discussions were around this. How do we support local communities and invest into local businesses? So we're trying to do more of that and focusing on supporting our local businesses, especially those working with at-risk communities.
Thank you so much, Joseph. We have learned so much from you. Siya po ay si Joseph Kolapudi. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
How do you say thank you in India?
Vandanalu.
Again?
Vandanalu.
Pandanalu.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you so much. At mga kaagapay, napakinggan po natin si Joseph. Napakayaman ng kanyang karanasan mula po sa pagtawag ng Panginoon sa kanya. Ginamit yung kanyang course sa college na business, and then the Lord had led him to several exposures network that would enable him to become who he is right now, at nagiging bahagi po siya ng pagpapalawig ng mensahe ng Panginoon sa pamamagitan ng pagnenegosyo. At dito na po nagtatapos ang ating programa. Thank you po sa inyong patuloy na pagsama sa amin sa programang ito. Kasama po si Angel Calayag, si Benji Musura, si Phil Lagtapon, at ako naman po si Jo Alabastro. Salamat po sa ating mga kaagapay dyan sa Bukawi Transmitter site. Manatili po tayong nakatingin sa ating Panginoon na siya pong nagbibigay sa atin ng kalakasan at ng karunungan sa pang-araw-araw nating buhay. Dito lamang po yan sa Entre Pinoy Espesyal.
Maraming salamat sa pakikinig at pag-antabay sa atin dito sa ating himpilan. At syempre, isa na namang makabuluhan na talakayan ang ating natunghayan sa ating mga kaibigan mula sa Business as Missions. Alam niyo po ba na sa panahon ngayon, marami talaga yung iniisip na ang business ay tungkol sa pera or yung kinikita. Pero tayo po bilang mga mananampalataya, it's good na talagang naniniwala po tayo na ang pagnenegosyo ay merong mas malalim na layunin. At ito po ang hatid ng Business as Missions. Ito ay pwedeng maging mission field. Ang ating pagnenegosyo ay pwedeng maging mission field. At ito po ang ginagawa ng ating mga kaibigan mula sa Business as Missions na nagpapaalala sila sa atin na ang trabaho at negosyo natin ay hindi hiwalay sa ating pananampalataya. At yan po yung ating natunghayan sa ating guest today with Business as Mission. Alam niyo po yun, sa bawat transaction at sa bawat pakikitungo natin sa tao, may pagkakataon po tayo na maipakita ang pagmamahal. Hindi lamang pagmamahal, kung hindi yung integridad at kabutihan ng ating Diyos sasalamin sa atin. Kaya ngayong umagang ito, bago po ako magpaalam sa programa ng Negosyo Asin Trabaho, ay nais ko pong iwanan ang salita ng Diyos. At ito ay nagmula sa Colossians chapter 3 verse 23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. Kaya alam niyo po ba, itong salitang ito mula sa Biblia ay nagpapaalala sa atin na kahit saan man tayo inilagay ng ating Panginoon, sa opisina man yan, sa maliit nating negosyo o sa malaking negosyo natin, o sa loob ng ating ministeryo, sa loob ng ating pamilya, or kahit saan tayo itinalaga o inilagay ng ating Panginoon. Ito po ay pagkakataon para maging daluyan tayo ng kanyang biyaya. At sa ating pagtatapos, tandaan po natin, ang negosyo natin ay hindi lamang para sa sarili nating tagumpay, kundi para ito sa layunin ng Diyos sa ating buhay. Kaya kung saan ka man ngayon naroon, ito ay ang iyong mission. Ito ay isa sa iyong mission field. Maraming salamat po sa lahat. At maraming salamat sa umantabay at sumubaybay sa ating programa. Ako muna po'y pansamantala magpapaalam sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Yvette Pao at salamat din sa ating technical team na sumubaybay at sumama sa ating ngayong umagang ito, kay Don Alfonso at kay Don Ramon sa pagsama sa ating programa ngayon. Maraming salamat at patnubayan po tayo ng Panginoon, and may God bless us all. Ito po si Yvette Pao, nagpapaalam pansamantala para sa ating programang Negosyo Asin Trabaho. Antabay lamang po at susunod na ang Family Matters. Siyempre kasama natin dyan si Pastor Joe Genduso at si Pastora Lala Gendusa. Magandang umaga and have a blessed day. Bye everyone!
Iyong narinig ang isa na namang edisyon ng programang Negosyo Asin Trabaho. Abangan muli sa parehong oras, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga. Kung mayroon kang suggestions o katanungan sa mga impormasyon na iyong narinig o gusto mo pang malaman, tumawag sa 0998-043-0573 o kaya mag-email sa info@dway.febc.ph o bumisita dito sa aming himpilan sa 104.3 DWAY-FM, Maharlika Highway, Arimbay, Legazpi City.